Hey guys, what's up? We have a lot to talk about this week. A lot went on in the market. So, this is going to be a portfolio overview, a little recap of some earnings that went on, some stocks I'm looking to buy, some stocks I did buy, a bit of advice, and a little something extra for you guys at the end. At the end of this video, I will be choosing one comment down below for my next video where I look into a stock. If you want me to look into a stock that you like, maybe you haven't seen many people talk about it, you want me to look into it and give you my opinion, drop a like, leave a comment down below, and I'll select one of you guys for the next video. All right, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, AMD, 405%, doing pretty well. Celsius, down 8%, but I did add some more. It's up 17% today. We'll talk about that a little bit further. ELF finally reached a overall gain of 50%, which is very nice. Nebius is struggling a bit, and I might make a video about why later on. Only up 114%. I did take some profit a while ago. That number would be up probably closer to 200% if I didn't. Netflix up a nice little 4%. That is a very new position for me. ServiceNow up 28%. Very nice. The company has been going very well lately, and sentiment has as well. Same for Rubrik, up a sneaky 58%. And then we have SoFi, only down 1%. I've brought my cost average down to around $18. It used to be $22. So I'll continue buying SoFi as it goes on the market. Currently, I believe at the start of last week, I think it was around 29,000. I'm not 100% sure, but portfolio is currently sitting at 30,600. All right, getting straight into it. AMD reported their earnings this week. They had a triple beat. They elevated their capex though, and spend brought the stock down. Currently, I believe is trading around right around before they reported earnings. Data center revenue jumped up 52% year over year. Helios Rack is coming soon, which is going to be very good for everything for the company. Overall, very good earnings. Guidance was good as well. Conference call was good, just not insanely good. And just one thing I wanted to point out is that Lisa Su will often sandbag her numbers, meaning that she doesn't really tell the market what she thinks is going to happen. So that way it's super easy for them to beat those numbers whenever the next quarter rolls around. However, during the conference call, a lot of analysts were kind of asking her, like, oh, why isn't, I believe they were up around 100% on revenue, or it was something along the lines of that. And she basically said it's going to be much more than what they're predicting, or she put a little emphasis on it. So if you can pick up on things like that, I think that the next coming quarters they're going to post some really crazy numbers. At least they should be at this point, because that's what I really think is going to drive the stock higher. I did think it was going to be this quarter, so it was a bit disappointing they didn't really double down on anything, so to say. But I do think the stock is still a buy. Pretty good earnings. Next up, we had Elf. They reported their earnings on Wednesday. They had a beat and raise. They took massive market share, and they also had a good amount of international expansion. Rode is one of the hottest products in the market right now, and I think it will remain one of the hottest products. And then you also have the Elf brand, which is super competitively priced. The tariffs and all that stuff really doesn't affect it, because the price on it is so cheap that if they have to raise their price a dollar or two, consumers are going to be like, oh, whatever, because it's still going to be the cheapest product by far. But just because it's cheap doesn't mean that it isn't a good opportunity. And I know a lot of people that are watching this are going to be males, and they're thinking, oh, a beauty product, I don't really want to buy that. Well, listen here. I'm up 50% on the stock. If you bought in at the lows over the past year, you'd be up 100% on the stock. And if you look at something like most tech stocks right now, most are down from their highs. So not everything has to be a tech stock. Not everything has to be some AI related company. You can find a lot of values in other companies if you look around the market. Overall, well, their top line revenue was up 35% year over year, and overall everything looked very good. I like their earnings. Everything is good there. Now we have Celsius. So this is a bit of an issue. They had a double miss. Was stalled a bit, down 12%, and they had to pay a one-time distributor fee, but It made the balance sheet look a little worse. Pepsi did have to pay it for them because they're in a contract with Pepsi. They pay everything. So they had some inventory reorganizing costs. They had some heavy promotional costs. Basically, the company is kind of in a setting up phase, kind of before they go on a nice run and they really start to take advantage of a lot of opportunities. They have the international opportunity, which I really like. They also have the opportunity to beat out competitors, take more shelf space, increase margins, all of that good stuff. And I think in the long term, the company is going to be the biggest energy drink brand. If you look at their competition, I believe that they're going to be the ones to take the number one prize. And that's not going to be a short term thing, though. That's talking out like the next 10 years, 10 plus years. However, in the short term, I think the stock is still underpriced. So I do think that it will get a re rating very soon in the short term. So I like it for a short term and long term perspective. The stock dropped, I believe, around 18%. Maybe a bit more when these earnings came out, but then it rebounded 16% today. So I think it should be back up to around it was before the earnings, maybe a little bit lower, but it's just an amazing gift from the market to buy some. It's my second largest position behind AMD, and I will be buying more over time. I don't want to dump a ton of money into the stock because it is quite a large position, but if it stays around these prices, I will be buying more over time. Overall, the earnings were meh, but they're acceptable considering where they were in this stage of the company. Because most of the time in this stage, you'd expect really bad earnings. You expect everything going bad. The earnings weren't terrible. They weren't great either. They were just So I think I like it. I like what's happening with the company. I like where it's going, and I like the management. And speaking of management, um, founder of Rockstar Energy, Russ Savage, called out management off of these earnings, and he was complaining about this, complaining about that, and I believe he owns a good percentage or a large amount of shares in the company. He was the founder of Rockstar and sold that, so he has a ton of money from that. But he offered to step up as the CEO as he was the founder of Rockstar. And my thoughts on this are hell no. I don't think, first of all, that it's going to happen. I don't think Celsius would allow that. Second of all, John, the current CEO, has done an amazing job bringing the company to where it is now. They're set up as a great competitor to take market share in a lot of categories. They're, in my opinion, the number one energy drink brand today, and they will be for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And this is all set up with current management, the way it is currently. And Russ Savage, obviously, he sold the company for a lot of money. He made a lot of money. But Rockstar Energy kind of failed. So I don't understand why you would be even considering taking him as the CEO when you have an amazing one right now. So I don't think it's going to happen regardless, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on that. And going into stocks I bought this week, plus some stocks I'd be looking to buy. First of all, the only stock I bought this week was Celsius. I am a bit low on cash. I'm waiting for my next paycheck from my work. However, I did buy some Celsius, and some stocks I'd be looking to buy in today's market is obviously Celsius, AMD. I will not be buying any AMD because I already have such a large position. It is, I believe, around 40 to, or what is that, 40, 35%? I don't know. It's a very large position in account, but do keep in mind that a lot of that position sizing is from gains. I bought in at 96 was my average, so but that's why I'm not buying any more AMD. I would look to buy some more SoFi specifically. That's probably the position I'd like to get up the most here. Only sitting at just under $4,000. I'd also look to buy some Nebius. It has been cut down a lot from the high, so if it goes down a bit more, I might be looking to add some to that. And of course, Netflix is one of my newer positions, still around where I bought it, sitting at around $70, $78, and I wouldn't mind adding a bit more to that. So, a little piece of advice is don't be too caught up in certain sectors of the market because a lot of people love the technology stocks. They love the AI stocks. They love the high growth, high all of this stuff. A lot of hype has gone into it. Also, if you look at the market over the past couple of years, a lot of people have been very bullish on AI technology stocks, and that's what's been performing well. But if you look at some other categories, you look at non AI, you look at consumer stocks, you look at other branches of the stock market, and they haven't been doing very well. And I think that soon that's gonna have a little flip, and maybe the technology stocks are gonna do a lot better, and these other, or no, sorry, the technology stocks are gonna do a lot worse. These AI stocks are gonna be in sort of a bear market, but the rest of the market that hasn't been performing as well, the consumer names specifically, I think are really gonna take off. You could also look at real estate, some other things. A lot of stuff has been dead. It's just really these AI and technology stocks propping up the market. But I just want to remind you guys, look other places too. Not everything is going to be made in just technology stocks. As you can see in my own portfolio, ELF, not a technology stock, making me a ton of money right here. And I think Celsius is going to be one as well. If you guys want to get featured in my next video, just leave a like, drop a comment down below. I will be looking for a stock to research. So any stock that you guys want me to research, not one in my portfolio, not one that I own, but I'll research a stock for you guys and let you know what I think about the opportunity. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time.